Okay, so now let's go over message. So message for all listing users is handled the same way. On your left side, you have all the people you're talking to. On the left side here, and disregard the picture in the window, it's confusing. So just know this, each card is an individual person this listing user who's on this side is speaking to, okay? And it's an infinite scroll as well. So if this person has sent me a message that I have not opened, the frame, just a soft glow or soft pulse, just red. Otherwise, it's like this. I click on this individual, their message will pop up here if I had a message with them. I will appear on the right side, their message will appear on the left side. If they are contacting me from a listing, let's say they said contact you, from a listing they were interested in, that listing will appear here above their message, and then their message will appear below it, kind of like a WhatsApp. So I know what listing they're referring to. I can click on that listing and it will just give me like a picture, just show me that listing, what it is. And then I can communicate back to them. Now, if this is my first time I'm speaking to them, there are documents I've set up for my default documents. Those default documents, my choosing, but in some states, initial contact must share disclosure agreement. Well, initial contact could be a text message. So what happens is I set up my default documents in here, right? Versus other documents. I say, hello, how are you? I saw your property, and automatically they receive those default documents above my name, my picture. Now, what they're notified is these are default documents that must be shared upon initial contact. In no way this is a contract with the individual. So they know that, okay? That is information that will pop up with as a message in here with my face. So it's a once that my initial contact. Now I may say, "Hey, how are you doing?" But before that pops up, these disclosure agreements will pop up with a message saying, "Hi, how are you? Here are my default. These are my initial disclosures. Initial documents I must share with you based upon state law. In no way that this is a contract." Now, if there's no default documents, which means that that state does not require it, right? Because it's the agent's responsibility to set up those default documents. And if they don't set up any default documents, then the default message will not appear. This is only for agent broker accounts. For sale by homeowner and corporate accounts do not have that requirement. I'm not responsible for that. So that won't be, it's not set up for them, just for the agent. But all other communication, as I had shared, is the same. Now, for the customer has additional options like this. Now we need to make sure it's working, okay? So one, we got to correct this. Invite needs to be the right shape. But they can add a decision maker, they can add a family member, they can add a friend. Those are the 3 permission levels. Now, why I say it's like a WhatsApp, because you can appear on your phone as well as it appears here, right? We're using the Twilio integration. There's no video chat going on, but what happens is all decision makers, so like my spouse, I'll add her, and when I add her, that I'm adding it by their phone number, because that's the only way for certain you know who that person is. And then they'll get a message on their phone, hey, you've been invited by so and so to join on their property search. And they can click on it and then add, and then they joined. If it's a spouse, they'll just join as a decision maker, and there's hierarchy of permissions. I've given that to you in the documentation, but simply put, decision makers can add, remove properties, can add, remove all other sub accounts and other decision makers. They can add everybody. They have it's like an admin permission. The family member cannot add a decision maker, cannot delete a property. They can add a property, saying, hey, let's say maybe you added your mom, and she can suggest a property to you, but she is not a decision maker, and she is not added to the permissions to remove properties. She can add a family member, she can add a friend, but that's all she can do. Okay. And then it's, emojis and texts like that. All a friend can do is just comment on the properties, but that's it. Straightforward. What messages?